things with the same units. So don't think about the units necessarily, but think about how the data changes. Think about how the data changes. Audrey?
Well, like your foot has to pass through all of his sizes, so and then your shoe you can just skip some.
Say that again.
Your foot has to pass through all of the sizes, but your foot has to pass through all the sizes, but your foot or your shoe has to skip some.
Okay, she's on to something right there. Your foot, she didn't mean by pass through all the sizes, but it passes through all the lengths, right?
Yeah.
And your shoe size, she said you skip from one to the next, right? Virginia?
So like basically like your foot's like gradually like slowly getting bigger, and then your shoe size you can just like move like to one thing like very quickly.
Okay. You guys are onto it right now. All right, so let's look at another example. The number of miles you ran last week versus the number of runs you went on last week. Why is the number of miles you ran continuous, but the number of runs you went on discrete? Michael?
Because like each run, you can calculate that run is one. Then like how many miles you're like running continuously. So it's like 1 point something miles as you go on.
So think about how it's changing. So how far I ran, how many miles I ran, how is that changing as I run? Chloe?
The miles, like they're changing at an inconsistent rate, but the number of runs you ran last week, like.
Yeah, you're going kind of back to what we said about proportional versus non-proportional. Doesn't have to change at the same rate. So like Monday I could run 7 miles, and then Tuesday I only run 1 mile, and I might not be running at the same rate all week, but what's happening as I'm running? What's happening as my distance is increasing? Yeah.
You're going by like decimal points maybe, so like you can
Okay.
run 1.5 miles or something. And then if you use like the amount of data on your phone, that's like that can be like you have point something data, but then the number of apps, it's like you have 5 apps. It's not like you have 4.3 apps.
Okay. She's on to something there too. So let's talk about how the graphs would look different. Think about how a graph would look different for something that was continuous, where I started at one point and I went to the next point, and what happened in between if it's continuous?
They might not line up exactly.
Might not line up exactly, but what happens in between? So when your foot goes from 3 inches to 6 inches, what happened in between?
You had to pass through
Say that, River.
You had to pass through all of it.
You had to pass through all those in between lengths, right? But when you went from a size 6 to a size 7, did you jump to any sizes in the middle? No. So how would the graphs look different? How would a continuous graph look different from a discrete graph? Chase?
A discrete graph I guess would like have points all over it, but a continuous graph would have would be proportional.
Okay. Would it have to be proportional though?
Oh.
Wouldn't have to be proportional. Who thinks they can come to the board? There's no right or wrong answer for how your graph should look. I just want to know what the difference between how a continuous graph would look and how a discrete graph would look. And Chase is like 90% of the way there. Hannah, can you do it?
Would it have like, would the discrete have like less points on it?
It might. Yeah, because like the length of your foot, you only change shoe sizes so many times, but the length of your foot was constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's definitely going to be more points on a continuous. I see what you're saying. Now come show me how that looks though. It's okay if you're wrong.
So I was thinking that like you could have for a number of days of school, like for one, there would be points all on it because you would pass 31, 32, 33, like this. But for like number of school days and number of students, you would only have like a set amount like gaining every single day. There wouldn't be like more students like added like every single day.
Okay, so what she's saying is right, but who thinks they can come to the board and show me? So she said you would have a whole bunch of points that were all connected for continuous, right? And then she said for discrete it would be less points. Cause who can come and show me what that would look like? Chase, come try.
times 30, then it would be right there. Then the third one would be 120, maybe?
Okay, so that is proportional there. So you're saying that we jumped from being in math class from 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden we had been in math class for 60 minutes, and then we had been in math class for 120, or 90, then 120. Is that right, guys? We said it's continuous, right? So what does that mean, that the amount of time I've been in math class is continuous? What does that mean about my graph? It doesn't have to be straight, but it has to be...
Ever going.
Yeah. Okay, so who can come show us, Alana, come show us what that looks like. Just try, it's okay. We're just exploring, it's okay. Chase, good. You brought some good points to light there.
So, I mean, if it was like, I was thinking at first, I don't know if this is right or not, but if it was like, on day 2, it was also 30 minutes, so it would
Okay.
just say like 33 because...
Well, say that's how long we've been in math class total. So we were in 30 minutes the first day, then 60 minutes the second day. But I'm not worried about whether it's proportional or how much it's changing by each time.
Okay. I'm not really sure. Just at first I thought it would be like that, but...
Donovan and then Sarah.
Wait, can I try?
Yeah.
Alright, so what I thought was that it would just, so for this, it would keep going, just keep, up here, because we just keep having days of school, but then for number of school days,
Number of students.
number of students, then I guess that.
You're saying that would level off at some point?
Yeah, it'd be like with shoe size, and how if this was shoe size, then eventually you'd get to your final size, but for your foot, then it would just kind of keep.
Okay, so what would that graph look like?
So it would just keep going up, or maybe it would like change. So then maybe like the 4th day. Then
It doesn't matter what the data,
okay.
but just show me what the graph would look like.
So then it'd be like up here, but then maybe there's like a fixed amount that like a certain amount that you have to stop having like new kids in your class. So maybe that's like 10. So then when you finally get up to 10, then that stops. But this one just keeps going up.
Okay, was that the difference between continuous and discrete, is that continuous can keep going and discrete has to stop? No, that wasn't the difference. So go back to the difference between continuous and discrete. What's the difference between the length of your foot, how you change in the length of your foot, and how you change in your shoe size? How your shoe sizes change versus how your length of your foot changes. Sarah?
It would be like you go over all of them. So the continuous would be like a line instead of just a whole bunch of points that would have an arrow. And then for the number of days of school, it would have the certain points, and it could go down, and then you get like a new student, and then it could stay the same. But it would be like points. But this would like cover all of the time.
Okay, she just hit the nail on the head right there, guys. She said that continuous would be a line that connected all your points, and discrete would be points that are not connected. Okay, so I want you to think about that and think about what the graph would look like for the 2 sets of data. You can turn it off. Thank you.